I used to sit with the guilt like it was my job. Like if I stopped, something would be lost. Like the replaying and the second guessing and the lying awake, running through the last days over and over again was the price I owed for not doing it perfectly. And I think, if you're honest with yourself right now, you might recognize that. The way grief and guilt become almost indistinguishable after a while. The way you stop being able to tell where the missing ends and the punishing begins. That's what I want to talk about today. Not in a way that wraps it up neatly, because loss doesn't do that, but in a way that's honest about what comes after, about what they actually need from you now, about what crossing over, whatever that looks like, whatever you believe it to be, might mean for the one who was left behind, which is you, which is us. There's a version of grief that gets stuck. Not because the person grieving is doing something wrong, but because the love has nowhere to go, and the guilt keeps redirecting it inward. You end up in this loop where the missing feeds the guilt, and the guilt feeds the missing, and somewhere in the middle of that you forget to ask the most important question. What would they actually want you to do now? Not what you think you owe them, not what the grief says you should be doing. What they, specifically the animal that knew you better than most people do, the one that was there for the ordinary Tuesday version of you and loved that version just as completely. What would that particular soul want for you right now if they could somehow make it known? Because here's the thing about the animals we love, they were never complicated about it. They didn't do nuance when it came to your well-being. If you were sad, they came closer. If you were anxious, they stayed. If you were hurt, they didn't offer advice or perspective or a reframe. They just put their body near yours and stayed there until something shifted. Their entire orientation toward you was simple, and it was constant, and it was this: I want you to be okay. That didn't change when they left. So let's actually go there. Let's talk about what they want you to do now. Not as a comforting abstraction, but as something specific and real and actionable, because I think you've had enough of the vague. You've had enough of people telling you they're in a better place without telling you what that means for the place you're still in. The first thing, and this is the one that's hardest to hear, so I want to say it carefully, is that they want you to stop shrinking the grief. Not stop feeling it. Stop apologizing for it. Stop editing it based on who's in the room. Stop measuring it against some imaginary timeline that says you should be further along by now. The grief is the shape of the love. It is exactly as large as what you lost, and what you lost was significant, and they would be the first to tell you that if they could. Somewhere along the way, a lot of us learned to make ourselves smaller inside this particular loss. To preface it with qualifications. To say I know it's just a pet, but, and everything that matters comes after that but, buried under an apology it never deserved. They didn't love you apologetically. They didn't show up for you with conditions attached. They would not recognize this diminished version of your grief as something they asked for. Grieve at full size, that's the first thing. The second thing they want you to do now is harder and takes longer and can't be forced, but it can be pointed toward. They want you to let the good memories get loud again. Right now, for a lot of you, the end is louder than everything that came before it. The last days, the last decision, the last moment, that's what plays when you close your eyes. And that's normal. That's grief doing what grief does, but it's not the whole story, and it was never meant to be the permanent one. There were years before the end. Ordinary, irreplaceable, completely specific years that belonged only to you and to them. The way they greeted you, the specific sound of them, the ridiculous habits, the particular demands, the moments of unexpected tenderness that caught you off guard and reminded you what it felt like to be purely, uncritically loved. Those memories exist at the same volume as the hard ones. They're just harder to access right now because pain is louder than peace in the early stages. But they want those memories to have space. They want to be remembered as who they were across the whole of the time you had, not compressed into the difficulty of the ending. The ending was a chapter. They were a life. The third thing, and this is the one I want to stay with because I think it might be the most important, is that they want you to forgive yourself, fully. Not partially, not provisionally, not the version of forgiveness where you put the guilt down for a few hours and then pick it back up again because it feels wrong to leave it behind. Actually forgive yourself. I know how that sounds. I know it can feel impossible or worse, like a betrayal. Like forgiving yourself means deciding it didn't matter, that the mistakes didn't matter, that they didn't matter. But that's not what forgiveness is. Forgiveness isn't erasure. It's not pretending the hard moments didn't happen. It's looking at the full picture, the whole relationship, the years of love, the daily choosing of them, the presence and the care and the devotion that existed even on the days you weren't at your best, and deciding that the hard moments don't get to be the defining ones. You were not a perfect caretaker. Nobody is. You were a human being with limitations and bad days and moments where you got it wrong, inside a relationship with an animal who never once held any of that against you. The accounting you're doing, the replaying, the if-onlys, the I should-haves, that accounting was never theirs. You created it yourself after the fact in the absence of the one who could have told you directly that it wasn't necessary. So let me tell you directly, in their absence, it isn't necessary. You loved them. Imperfectly, humanly, really, and they knew, they always knew. And the forgiveness you're searching for was never withheld. It was just waiting for you to be ready to receive it. The fourth thing is perhaps the quietest of all, and I want to say it gently because it's not right for everyone, and it's not right for every timeline. But they want you to stay open, to love again, when you're ready. Not as replacement. That word has no place in this conversation, because what you had was specific and unrepeatable, and no other animal will ever be them. But as continuation, as proof that the love they taught you didn't close when they left, that the capacity they expanded in you, for patience, for presence, for the particular tenderness that comes from caring for something that needs you, that capacity is still there, still real, still yours. Some of you aren't anywhere near ready for that, and that's completely okay. This isn't a timeline, it's just a door, and it stays unlocked for whenever you are. Here is what I want to leave you with today. And I mean this not as a closing thought, but as something to actually take with you. You are allowed to be okay, not over it, okay. Those are different things, and they can exist at the same time. You are allowed to have a good day without it meaning you've moved on. You are allowed to laugh at something and feel the grief, and hold both of those things in the same afternoon. You are allowed to talk about them in the present tense sometimes, because love doesn't conjugate neatly into past tense, and anyone who expects it to has never loved something the way you loved them. They crossed over. But the crossing wasn't an ending, it was a change of form. The love is still in motion. It's in you, in the way they shaped you, in the space they took up that's now a different kind of full. They left you changed, and the changed version of you carries them forward into every day you live from here. That's not loss dressed up as comfort. That's just what real love does. It doesn't stop. It finds new shapes and keeps going. You are allowed to keep going too. If something in this video gave you permission to breathe a little easier today, if it loosened something that's been tight in your chest for a while, I want you to pass it on, not just share the link. Actually, think of the specific person in your life who is carrying this quietly, who hasn't told you the full weight of it because they're not sure anyone would understand. Send it to them directly. Sometimes the most loving thing we can do for someone is simply say, I found this and I thought of you. Leave a comment telling me what you're holding on to, what you're still working toward forgiving yourself for, what you wish you could tell them. This community reads those comments and holds them. You are not grieving alone in here like this if it reached you. Subscribe if you want to stay. We'll see you in the next one.